Hello and welcome to another edition of Alex McCarthy's All Things Wrestling with my good friend Joe Copton, as you'll be able to see with his all black ensemble.
I'd say it's topical. Hold on. There we go.
Good. I mean, I'm not wrestling. It's dirty Newcastle United.
Go on the mags.
Well, yeah, Danny Rose. Thank you very much. But no, thank you for tuning in. Once again, I am jet lagged to hell right now. Struggling. What a week it's been, though. We've in the past 7 days, obviously, I've been out to Texas, Dallas, then Houston to cover the Royal Rumble, and of course, we had the first episode of Talk Wrestling on TalkSport 2 on Tuesday. So, what a week, man! To get all of that stuff in action, and of course, we've still got time for our own YouTube show. Of course
we do. There's always time.
Always time. So the premise of today is that me and Joe will just discuss all the things that I did out in Texas, as well as the action that transpired. We did a lot of interviews, and the idea is to roll them out consecutively for the next few days. A lot of advice I've been getting about the channel has circled around the thumbnails, which I didn't realise was so important, but it is. So the only slight delay is on making sure that they are good and proper. But after that, we've got Samoa Joe, we've got Rhea Ripley, Undisputed Era, Pete Dunne, Carmella, Bayley, Lacey Evans, Cesaro, Nakamura.
Not much then. You've been struggling.
Yeah, struggling for content. Ilya Dragunov as well. So yeah, there was a lot going on, a lot that you'll all be able to enjoy in full on the YouTube channel, and it's the only place you'll be able to enjoy them in full. So don't forget that. Anyway, Joe, how did you enjoy the weekend, man? All the way back here in the cold depths of England.
While I was just chilling back in England while you were flying high in Texas. It's pointless asking me. Let's start with you, because obviously you've had an extremely busy week, really, haven't you? Starting from, when did you fly out? Last Thursday, I want to say.
Last Thursday, yeah.
Last Thursday, yeah. Because I remember you texted me like midnight. You're like, "I'm here," and I'm like, "I'm in bed. I'm done."
Okay.
So I suppose let's work our way through kind of your weekend. So obviously you arrived in Texas and then Friday you were straight out into interviews. So who did you grab on Friday, and kind of who was the best? What was the best ones, and what your tidbits you got for us?
So we were in Dallas on Friday because obviously SmackDown was going on in Dallas. So in the morning at the hotel, because we were staying in the same hotel as Superstars, both in Dallas and Houston, and we had Carmella, Lacey Evans, Bayley, and Cesaro and Nakamura. They did Cesaro and Nakamura as a pair. Now, anyone who's watched a Nakamura interview will know that's very helpful. When I first interviewed him, he had a translator, so he has improved. And to be fair, his English was even better this time, but it's just easier. So yeah, we Bayley was in really good form, talking about her rivalry with Sasha and how they both still really want that big pay-per-view match given time. I think she speaks for a lot of fans. If I'm honest, I'd love to see it. Carmella as well was talking about how WWE didn't even let her know they were splitting her and R-Truth up.
I read that. That was very intriguing.
She literally just got to the draft and it was like, yep, that's happening. And she had a lot of lovely things to say about Triple H and NXT and what they did for her. I thought that was very interesting too. She was upset when she wasn't brought up with Enzo and Cass, but Triple H just pulled her aside a few months ago and said, "Now you see why." So far be it from us to question Papa H. But yeah, it was really good. All of them were in really good form. So plenty of good content came out of that. And then we went to SmackDown on the Friday night. And
good seats you had as well, I saw.
I was just about to say, you may or may not have seen, I had really, really good seats. It was literally it was floor seats by ringside, but maybe 4 rows back. So really close though. So, when they're working the barricades, or the tag that started SmackDown, and it had Corbin, Ziggler and Rude, like, and they're all like working the apron, and it's like right there. It's pretty cool. I've done an actual ringside at NXT UK Takeover, but that's the closest I've been to
It was weird as well because like when we went to the BT Open party, we were kind of talking about that, wasn't we? Because we was like on the rail. I know it's not the same atmosphere, but it was still weird being that close to the ring.
Yeah, exactly. And it just reminds me, Joe, like, you know, oh God, what, 10 years ago? Maybe 8 years ago, we were paying like 60, 70 quid. Just
in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, yeah, just to be remotely close.
We're edging closer to the ring.
Yeah, we were spending more each year just to get closer.
Yeah.
And then we became proper snobs when we got complimentary tickets. We were like, if the comp tickets weren't great, we were like, this is crap. What's this?
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah, so we had to pay for it. We just had free drinks. But yeah, so that was cool. And then on the Saturday morning, we got up at like 7:30 to drive to Houston. It literally is just straight down a freeway, highway. I don't even know what they call them in America, but we got on a bus and we did that. And then once we got to the hotel, we all had like 10 minutes with Samoa Joe. WWE had put on like this spread. That's the best way I can put it, like a buffet. It's not. So it's funny. I was talking to Kaylee Ray about this. So when I flew home at the airport, was like Walter, Kaylee Ray, and Andy Shepherd. Obviously, Andy Shepherd, good friends of us and this show, and I was chatting to them a little bit. And Kaylee Ray was saying about the buffet, and she was like, "Oh, you know, did you have? I don't know." And she was like, "You know, what was it like?" And asking what it was, and then she was like, "Oh, it's nothing like catering." She was saying, "You need to get in catering. It's like amazing."
Backstage.
Yeah, she was going, catering is like amazing. She was breaking it down for me, like everything they've got. It literally sounds like ridiculous, totally ridiculous.
Could be an episode of the show. Backstage canteen special.
Yeah. I might just Skype Kelly Ray and get her to explain. It's fascinating. But yeah, anyway, with Samoa Joe, after I'd eaten and we'd seen him, it was really cool because at this hotel, this is like the main hotel for the Rumble. Obviously, the one in Dallas just had SmackDown stars, but this had everyone. So literally, I checked in and I walked around the corner to go to the elevator, and there was Christian. And it was so weird, like obviously you know, like a big Christian fan, loved Christian, as you do too, and it was so weird, like, you know, when you look at someone and because he had a hat on, and he was deceptively taller than I thought, and I was just I was like, oh fucking hell, it's Christian, and then you know you don't really know what to. Oh, I shouldn't have just sworn then. You know you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, all right. Oh, hi, Christian.
Hey, man.
His name. Hi, Christian. And then he was like, hey, man. And I just said, yeah, big fan. Like, nice to meet you, basically. And he just went, oh, cool, thank you. And that was it. But, like, we didn't even stop to say that. We were, like, saying it as we were passing. Do you know what I mean?
As if you're like old friends. Like, oh, hey, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't like pull him aside. Hey, it's weird. I didn't want to be like, oh, can I get a photo? Even though I really wanted the photo. But like, I don't know. So I guess my arsehole went. Anyway, and then so when I finished with Samoa Joe and I was coming out to get into the lift, Nikki Cross was coming out of the lift, and she is, for anyone who knows, she is like the most bubbliest, nicest person in the world. And I hadn't seen her since I interviewed her a couple of weeks ago. And I think she thought I tweeted something like derogatory about Sanity, but I didn't. Like it was all a misunderstanding. It was me just trying to promote the interview. So when I saw her, I was just like, oh hey, and like, kind of joked about it. But she was super nice again. I don't think she's got it in her to not be nice. And so yeah, that was some of the interactions around the hotel. But another one on that, which is super interesting. I actually mentioned this on Talk Wrestling after the Rumble at the hotel. Edge, Christian, Riddle, and John Morrison were all drinking at the hotel.
Oh, in the bar.
Yeah.
You should have just edged away in.
I should have just sorted over, like, fellas.
Well, you should have just walked over to your good mate Christian.
Is that mine over there, fellas? Must be. Yeah.
Christian, do you remember me from earlier? You know.
Oh, Chris. All right, bud. Yeah, didn't quite go that way. But yeah, some of the boys are talking about that. So I just thought that was cool. Like Riddle being in that mix for some reason. It's cool to me. So yeah, and like I said, on that Saturday we had Worlds Collide. Great show, just a great show. All the matches, I would say maybe all of them except for Rhea and Tony banged.
Yeah.
And it's not that Tony and Rhea was bad. I just want to state it's just that you've seen what they can do, and I don't think they maybe had enough time to do what they really wanted to do. I don't know, but that's just how it felt when I was there. Anyway, probably if I looked up on Wikipedia, they probably had 40 minutes. But yeah, I thought it was a great event. What did you think?
I love that. As I say, I just wanted to touch because I know we kind of pushed for time. I just want to touch on the tag match because the way they built it with like the kind of the mutual respect of the two teams, and then the way the match kind of played out in terms of it was kind of teasing each other out, and it was almost a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
And I think Tommaso Ciampa came in and just like dug someone out, and you're like, oh, and then suddenly like the match like ignited.
It got
like
progressively nastier, didn't it?
Yeah, so it was just really well done, and I think, well, I mean, me and you, we've seen Mustache Mountain quite a few times now, and from watching NXT, we know all about DIY. So it was always going to be, I think, it was never not going to be a bad match, but it was just the way that it was kind of built slowly, and then it kind of built. So yeah, it was really good.
Well, look, two of the my favourite, I was about to say the best, but two of my favourite moments as a fan was one, and I was with you for this one, Royal Albert Hall, Mustache Mountain beat Undisputed Era for the tag titles. Yeah. That was honestly when the free count happened. How big was that pop? It was unbelievable.
It's even to the point where you think, even at this point, then wrestling's become. I know most people, you can kind of almost guess what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We were actually in shock, and I think the whole Albert Hall was like, "Oh my god! Like, what have we just witnessed?"
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was so good. And the other one, I saw DIY versus Authors of Pain versus the Revival in Orlando, and it was like a three. Oh man, it was so good, like a three-way takeover. It was unbelievably good. So to see two teams that I've had such good experiences live with go at it and deliver, more importantly, awesome. But yeah, Worlds Collide, great show. And then on to Sunday morning, I spoke to a lot of people that were on that show.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Pete Dunne. Undisputed Era, it was a thrill for me. It's hard to speak to all of them.
Yeah.
Right? So when you've got four of them in front of you, and you're asking a question that's really very broad, and you kind of, I only had two microphones for them, so they're kind of like taking it in turns. And Adam Cole is the bulk of the talker. He's a fantastic talker, by the way.
Yeah.
But it was kind of hard. But
they've got so much going on. Like, even if you kind of forgot about Undisputed Era, like individually, they've all done a lot already.
I could sit down.
You could sit and talk. Exactly. You could sit and talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've already had Adam Cole at Download. And again, he was super nice. And he actually remembered me, which was really nice. So that was the one I was like anticipating the most. I'd say I really wanted to talk to. In the back of my head, I was like, I'm definitely getting a photo at the end.
It's gonna happen.
I'm definitely getting it. And then I had another great chat with Rhea Ripley. I hadn't seen her since Blackpool won. So it'd been a good year since
She remember you.
She did. Yeah, she did. That was a good year. I mean, to be fair, I kind of prompted her to remember me. Like, she didn't just go, hey, Alex, I see him. Yeah, there wasn't none of that. But I kind of gave it the old, oh, remember I saw you here? And then, because, yeah, she said she knew, she probably didn't. And obviously, like, I know Pete pretty well by this point, having trained with him, interviewed him loads. Yeah, he was really cool. He was really interested in the show as well. And he nice enough to tweet about it as well. On the day we did it. So thank you, Pete Dunne and UK Wrestling. But yeah, so those interviews are quality. I can't wait to share them with the guys on the channel. It really is. There really is some interesting. I try and ask some diverse stuff. So you will learn things. But let's finish this off then with our Rumble thoughts. The two main things, of course, Drew McIntyre and Edge. But before we get there, for me, I felt Bianca Belair had a real star-making performance in the women.
Yeah, agreed.
And I felt in the men, Brock Lesnar was literally sensational. Possibly the best thing he's done in like since the birth of Suplex City. Probably it's the best thing he's done.
I don't think they could have booked him any better.
Yeah,
because there's not. I mean, it's weird because there's not much you can do with him. He's either dominating or you build someone up to beat him.
It's so good though because when he does eventually sell, he is such a good seller.
I'd say when he got eliminated,
it was good, wasn't it?
Spot on, and
it looked like he didn't know what day of the week it was. He was like, you know what I mean. I thought it was awesome. But let's get to Drew. He's one of them who's been like on the cusp of winning, you know, and in that circle for a few years now, but never quite getting it. What did you think about giving a decision to put it on him? I thought it was made much more significant by the way he eliminated Brock.
Yeah, and I think it built it nicely with even after he'd eliminated him, he kept going kind of over and basically staring him out. And in a way, you're like, that's true. What are you doing? Come on, don't stoke it. Come on.
You say that. Look at the man. He is in phenomenal shape.
You can remember looking back to when he was WWE previously.
Chosen one.
Amount of change.
Yeah.
And not even physically, but like his whole persona is. He comes across as an absolute superstar now. So it's not really surprising. I mean, in a way though, I don't know. I came into this Rumble not really knowing. So I think we and you both said we probably assumed Reigns would win.
I thought so, to set up the Fiend. But at the same time, you don't need that because Reigns and Wyatt have history that the Fiend will attack him, I guess, eventually. So you don't need the Rumble win. And we still obviously had thoughts that Lesnar and Fury or Velasquez would transpire. But I mean, I'm super happy that they've gone with McIntyre.
Yeah.
And I also think Charlotte's a deserving winner. For the women, I was saying this earlier, it's not always a bad thing to have the best win. And she is the best. People are welcome to get in our comments. But
we've said before, haven't we? We've always felt technically she's the best woman wrestler.
She holds matches together extremely well. And as far as big match performer goes, she's the best. She's the best. But yeah, what about Edge, man? So I'd read the rumors, right? But the Rumble was so good that I wasn't thinking about it, right? So like I was kind of so engaged in it, I'd forgotten that it might happen. And then there's always that bit in the back of your mind where you assume it won't.
Yeah.
And then when I heard that you think you know me, I was like,
Talk to me about the atmosphere. What that must have been.
The roof was off the place. No joke. Like people, the people in front of me like turned around to like hug me, and like everyone's jumping around. Like people you don't even know are like going, "Oh my god!" Like it reminded me exactly of what it was like when the Hardys came back. It was exactly like that. Like people were literally going insane.
So from watching it on TV, obviously there was outrage, which you must have seen once you'd got back, because for some unknown reason the camera cut away when he got into the ring and hit the best spear on Ziggler, who obviously we both know is so good at selling.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, like there was a really good spear there. We missed it.
God damn it, Kevin Dunn.
And weirdly, you go back and watch it now. I'm not sure if they've changed it on the network, but if you go certainly back to like YouTube clips, they've edited the footage so that they show the thing. But you know what threw me was, I mean, because of him coming out and obviously he kept saying, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening.
But this is the thing, which you would.
Yeah. But then for him to come in, you always kind of assume he'll come in at the end, like maybe the number 30. But to come in at 21, number one, and then number two, to look as good as he did, and number three, still to go really well in there. And then obviously to build the feud with Randy and stuff as well, which we'll touch on Raw. But he you know what? He's just got the perfect theme music. He really does. The perfect theme music for someone coming back. Like that was.
On this day. Yeah. So good. I'm so delighted to have him back. Like, my thing all along was if he's healthy and he's good to go, then I'm 100% all in. He's one of the all-time greats in my opinion.
Mostly on Raw, didn't it? When he was like, I wanted to go on my terms, and I think that's all, doesn't it?
That's what I mean. It must have outweighed him a little bit, but I mean, I suppose we're going to wind it down here and let people know, obviously, that we have these interviews coming up. We didn't even scratch the surface of the Rumble really because there's so many different individual plots, but the main talking points are what they are. I hope I've given some nuggets of information to people. You will have seen on TalkSport or my Twitter that I had 2 reports from there. Since we're on Edge, I was told about his contract being a 3-year deal at $3 million a year, 5 matches, 25 appearances. What a bloody good deal that is, by the way. probably only Lesnar has a better deal than Edge. That's incredible. Yeah. And as far as Lesnar goes, while we're on that, it's not a work that is bugging the hell out of me when people say that on Twitter and stuff. It's legit. Superstars and WWE officials literally told me, and they're not in a work me fashion. It's legit. It's not a fight or a row or even an altercation like Brock just told him. Do you know what I mean? For those who don't know what I'm talking about, like Brock just told Matt Riddle that he didn't, to stop saying his name so much and trying to work with him. He basically said he'll never work with him, which, I mean, he will because there's money in it, and Brock really likes money. So it's just one of them things. But those 2 reports you can read all about on Talksport.com, and I'm sure you'll find them on my timeline.
Let's before we go, then let's do some housekeeping. We got to touch on obviously your radio show now on Talksport 2 to give us the details.
Right, so we're back this Tuesday, and we haven't been cancelled yet. 6 till 7 on Talksport 2, and of course we want you to phone in and talk wrestling with us. We have guests, special interviews and things like that. But the core of the show is for the UK to have their voice and to talk to us about what they feel. And luckily, this week's show was just a real feel-good show because everyone was so happy with the Rumble. So, but yeah, not always going to be smelling of roses, fellas. It's going to be good. I'm really excited that the show is where it is, and we're in talks to make it something decent.
It's I think when I listened in. And they were saying that's 20 years since the last kind of wrestling on the radio. So I think that shows not only how big wrestling is now, and there's obviously, like we said, there's a boom at the minute, but the amount of content and stuff, and that's what people want now. It's getting to the point now people want to talk about wrestling, which is why you're getting your show. So
well, yeah, it's been a wild ride for me in many ways. I've been kind of clawing away, not creating the media scene in England by any stretch of imagination when it comes to wrestling, but I've certainly been doing my best to put it on to the biggest platform possible. TalkSport's obviously a big company. They hired me to bring the clicks essentially online, but the result of that is we can do more, and there is more. And then with all these opportunities that have opened up with BT as well and Channel 5, and it's the perfect time. And it's better, I feel like TalkSport are kind of ahead of the curve on this one right now. There's nothing else like it, and it's perfect. I'm so happy that it's finally happened because it felt like there was no reason for it not to.
Yeah. Well, get in there. Get watch on Tuesday. Listen in on Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah,
Tuesday,
please do, guys. Until then, like I said, the idea is to drop interviews. I believe this is going to air on Friday. And my ambition is to drop Samoa Joe on Saturday, and then it will go from there, where one by one consecutively. And then, of course, you'll hear from us 2 again next week, which is a great time to say thank you for watching and hearing our Rumble comments and the Rumble weekend and all of my insight and my dirt. Please, in the comments, let us know what you think. We love comments. We love comments. Hit us both on Twitter. Joe's been giving you the wrong handle because he's a real prick and he doesn't want to.
Who would know that I'd work in IT? Hey? I don't even know my Twitter handle.
What is it, Joe?
So it's actually @Joe_Copson.
Oh, that elusive underscore.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Alex M _TalkSport. And yeah, please hit us up with anything you want to talk about.
Hit that subscribe if you want to get those interviews hot off the press. Hit that subscribe button.
I believe it's down there. I got this wrong last time, so I'm trying to do my opposite. But yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere down there.
It's down there.
Hit
it. Click it for us. Click it for your boys. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next week.